Hey hobby nerds, we're going to take some time today to teach you how to use our transparent set. First topic that I'm going to cover is what transparents are. All 9 of our transparent paint colors are super saturated paints that start at a lower opacity than standard colors. They will boost the vibrancy of the paint on your models, and you can use them in a variety of creative ways for glazing, filtering, mixing, and so on. If you're familiar with inks, these paints are going to do the same thing and be used for the same techniques, but better. They will give you even more flexibility because they are real acrylic paints. They flow like paint, they act like paint, and they will give you all the flexibility without changing the way that you paint. So that covers what transparents are all about. Let's talk a little bit about what we're going to show you in this video. We're going to talk about 3 specific techniques that are going to be really easy to follow and that can be adapted to whatever model that you're going to be painting. The first one is going to be shifting the hue of the model that you're painting, or the part of the model that you're painting, and also smoothing out the blends a little bit as well. The second one we're going to cover is going to be featuring metallics. So we're going to show you how to utilize transparent paints to get really, really bright and saturated, colorful metallics in 2 different ways. The last thing we're going to show is how to utilize glaze and wash medium plus our transparent paints to create a filter that will utilize a zenithal highlight, which is basically a pre-highlighted model over a black base coat, to get a shade and highlight in 1 step. You'll notice when we have these transparent paints that right out of the bottle, they are very, very intense. So generally speaking, you do want to thin them down a little bit. The first demo is how to add some saturation to your leather. We're going to use one of these little mixing cups, and we're going to add some transparent paint, and then we're going to add a little bit of water. What this is going to do is thin our mixture so that we can reduce the intensity of the brown so that we can feature and add saturation to the highlights that we've done previously on the leather. And what this is going to do is it's going to change the hue and add more saturation to the part that we're painting here, and also will smooth out some of the rough blends that you can see on the model. A great benefit of this method is that it allows you to paint faster with less thought, producing a great result in less time. Next, we're going to be using the Warrior to show you how to utilize metallics together with your transparent paints. We're going to show this to you in 2 different ways. We're going to first mix our transparents with the metallic paints, and then we're going to apply it to the model. We're going to put in equal parts rich gold, and we're going to put in equal parts transparent red. Now that we have everything mixed up, we're going to go ahead and apply this to the model right here on the shoulder pad, so we have a nice large surface to see what this is going to look like after it's done. You don't always have to just use a 50-50 ratio. Like any of the paint techniques that we show, there's a lot of flexibility with how you approach mixing. You can use a 30%, 70%, or a 4-to-1 ratio. It just depends on what the end result is. The more transparent paint that you're going to add, the more intense the red effect is going to be. But you will still get some of that shiny metallic feel when you mix the colors. Now that we've shown you how to mix your metallic paints and your transparents together, we're going to show you how to layer your transparent paints on top of a metallic paint. We're going to use the same exact colors, but we're going to use a different application process. So in this case, we're going to use rich gold first over the entire shoulder pad, which you can see I'm doing here. Now that I'm done, we're going to go ahead and apply the transparent red over the top. And for this, like we did in the previous steps, we're going to grab our mixing cup and we're going to mix a little bit of transparent color with a little bit of water. You can see as I'm applying the transparent red over this rich gold that it keeps a lot more of the brilliance of the metallic, and it's just filtering the red on top of it. The results are very similar with a little difference in sheen and a little difference in intensity of red. Now we will show how you can use glaze and wash medium to further reduce the transparency so you can use the paint as a simple, quick, and efficient way of painting your miniatures. Personally, I like to use a 50-50 mix. There's a lot of different ways that you can approach it. The more glaze and wash medium you add, the more you're going to reduce the intensity of the green. So just bear that in mind as you're applying this. The water we're going to add to adjust the thickness of the paint to a more fluid consistency so it applies to the model better. So you can see now I've applied the water in here. We're gonna mix it up and we're gonna give it a go. The first thing you will notice is how smooth this application is. You can see as I'm applying this mixture to the model that this is a really quick and efficient way to create color when starting from a white, gray, and black base coat that still keeps all of your highlights and shadows that you've already put in. And with a few additional steps, you can take a model painted with this simple technique to a more complete and finished look. Just to recap, we went through 3 really great simple techniques, starting with adjusting hue and making smoother blends, going to utilizing metallics and transparents together to create really, really bright, colorful metallics, and then also utilizing our transparent paints in a way that can give you really quick and efficient color over a pre-established base coat with a zenithal highlight. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many other things that you can do with transparents. This is just a really simple way to get you started. We talked a lot about transparency here today. We covered a lot of the basics. If you guys have any more questions about more complicated applications for transparents, we stream on Twitch and YouTube every day during the week, Monday through Friday. Don't forget, you guys can find all of the paints and the texture trainers that we used in this video today in the link below. Also, feel free to comment below if you guys have any questions, and don't forget to follow and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Baby J out.